Sometimes the hardest part of crafting is just deciding what we want to do and how we want to do it. For me, anytime I'm working on a book or a journal or a collage or art page, the hardest part is what we call breaking the page. And what that means is we have to get something down in order to know where we want to go from there. So the first element that we break a page with is that key element. It really turns out that you don't really have to know where you're going with this all the time. You just have to get something on the page that you can work with from there. And so what I'm going to be working with today is a lot of magazine tear outs and just different crafting paper, scrap-picking paper pieces. Actually, these come out of my scrapbooking paper things. As you can see, I've got all kinds of papers in here. I never throw anything away because I'm going to use a lot of that in different projects. So you can use things around the house. You can use junk mail, paper sacks, pieces of boxing and packaging, just anything that you can come up with that you can dream up an idea for. Now, to break this page today, what I'm going to work on is an ideal inspiration book. I make a lot of junk journals, and I make a lot of embellishments that go into them. And in fact, I've got so many ideas that sometimes it's hard to remember what I've made or how I liked it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a book that has a lot of prototypes in it. And then I can flip through and kind of jog my memory, get some inspiration, and know what I want to work from there. But at the same time, I just don't want to glue something on a page and I'm done with that. I want to make a piece of art out of it at the same time. So while I'm making a craft inspiration book, I'm also making another craft page by page, which is an art book. So I love collage, and I do a lot of things in the collage style. And collage is one of the easiest things to do and get started with if you're new to crafting, if you're using paper, fabrics, and other things like that. So let's break this page. I had tore out an image off this printed out piece of paper that I had, and I had used it in another project, and I thought this would be a great piece to break the page with. And so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use this as my top, and I'm going to glue the outer edges in place. Now, right now it's just going to be the outer edges because I will probably want to slip some things under or on around the edges of some of this. So I want them free so I can get to them and put things underneath them. So I'm using Aleene's Original Tacky Glue, and it's one of the best glues that I've found for crafting. It doesn't require a whole lot in order to get it to adhere well. Now, also remember, when you're gluing, press your glue from the inside to the outside so that it runs all the way to the edge and keeps your edges down. And that way you'll make sure if you missed a little spot, maybe that you'll be able to pick that up by squeezing it out in that direction. And it keeps your edges down really good. Okay. Now you see that I have the whole inside here that's loose so that I can tuck things under if I want to. Okay. So now we've what we call broke the page. We've taken the dive, we've stepped off the cliff, we have something here to begin with. So now what? I don't like to pre-plan my collage pages because they end up looking pre-planned. And that's not what I want. I want a free flow artistic look to it. So from here, let's see, I've got some pieces here that I have cut other elements out of. For instance, I made this little flower with a little brad in it for another project, and this top flower was cut out of here. But that in itself is an element that I'm not going to throw away and I'm going to use. So I think that what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to tuck it under. So in this case, I'm going to do all my edges on this. Do a little bit in between so that it will go down good. And let's just maybe tuck that under at a little bit of an angle. And we'll just put that like that. Now when I'm cutting paper, I save scraps like that in order to clean up edges, you might say, and wipe some of the glue off areas that I don't want it. And then you can just discard that. Okay. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to layer in different elements. So let's say that I tore this out of a magazine and I really like this and I want to use it. So I'm going to put it something like that. But I need it to stand out more than that, so I'm going to put another element behind it, like so. I think that's what I'll do right here. And I'm just positioning how do I want this to look. It's got to come over to the edge, and the other one's got to cover it. And I want a fair piece of it showing, because I think I'm going to put something of a different contrasting color in there. So maybe something like that would be good. Now, what I need here, I like this torn edge on this pink that's white, but this edge we kind of lose. So here's where you may or may not have some little, these are small ink pads, and these are great for highlighting or distressing edges, and they just really fast. They come in all kinds of beautiful colors, and you can do whatever you want to do with it. Streak it the edge a little bit, do something to make it stand out more when you put it on your page. Okay, see how pretty that stands out against the pink. So let's get the pink in place, and I'm going to tilt it a little bit so that I get more of it to show, because I can run my other one up to the top. Let's see. Let's just cut a little bit off that edge so that it fits better at an angle to the edge of the page. And then this one will run up to it. Okay, so now before I can get that glued down, I want to remember where I want to place this. So I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to just put me a little spot right there that tells me where I want to glue this piece right here. Now this one I'm just going to use some glue stick for, because I'm going to be gluing other elements on top of it and around it, and I know it's going to be sticking good. Just make sure you're not stingy with your glue stick, because it takes a lot to stick down some of this stuff, especially if you want it to stay. Okay, let's find my little mark and cover it up as I put my element on there. Keep it straight and angled. And then let's give it a press and make sure that it stays in place. Okay, now we'll reposition this one back. Okay, we like that. That turned out well. Okay, what do we want to put in here? We want to put some contrasting color pieces in here. I had this little piece. I think if it were to stick under there, we get a nice contrast of color, a little bit of interest. What do you think? Something like that? I think I'm happy with that. All right. Let's give that a little purple distress on the edge. As you can see, nothing has to be perfect. You can just make things work for you as you go along. Just pull out pieces and just turn them and twist them until they fit the idea that you've got in your head for that area. Okay, I think I like that well. I think I'm going to go with another piece across, something like that. I think I would like that. So let's get a darker blue here, and let's distress these edges. Most of the time, this is just so that those edges will stand out, and you can see them really good, one color against another. Okay, I'm going to have to glue this one down and get it ready to go in place. Make sure that when you're using your glue that you're out to the edges. Otherwise, it's, all your edges are going to stick up, and that's not going to be a good situation. Okay, let's get it in here in a reasonable way. Okay, I like that well enough. Let's press that down. Okay, now we need this one to go in, and we want it to not cover up all the pink. I think that would look pretty good, don't you? Okay, we'll do that one. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have any papers to work with. There are, of course, opportunities to buy digital papers online, print them out yourself. There are scrapbooking collections of papers that you can buy at the craft store. But sometimes you just need to tear them out of a magazine, or use a piece of maybe junk mail that came in. There's all kinds of interesting stuff to be able to use in that. Okay, how's that looking? Are we liking that so far? I think maybe I'm ready to glue down this top one. I've got enough of my colors in there that I'm happy with. So let's use some of the heavier glue here, because this is a major piece, and we're going to glue it down, and I don't want to stick anything else under it, I don't think, so we'll glue the outer edge as well on there. This Aleene's tacky glue is available just about everywhere, hobby stores, Walmart. You can order it online. It's just a good craft glue of it's not too heavy, it's not too thick. It spreads well and it adheres well. So, okay, let's give that a nice press down. Keep that going. Clean up a little bit on my hands. Okay, got it? All right. Now we still haven't got this down yet, but I'm still not sure what I'm going to end up doing with that. So, okay, I have another one of these. I'm thinking, what do I want to do with that? I don't like this little square edge here, so I think what I'm going to do is just kind of come in here like that. And then we'll do something with that later. Don't know exactly what, but we'll do something with that later. Okay, let's put this down. The fun part of collage is that anybody can do this, because there's no rules. You can't be wrong. Whatever you do, you do. It's just fun, and it can fit. If it fits your project, it's right. Okay, let's press that down. We got little edges here. We're going to put a little bit more under, keep them down. Okay, again, we can use a piece of paper to clean up some of that extra glue. Okay, it's there. We'll have to make it work now, won't we? Okay, now, I had torn this out. I thought that was kind of cute, with all these little tulips. You know what? I think that would pull that edge together really nice, and it fits well with the flower theme. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and put that across the whole thing here. Magazines are things that usually everybody has a few of, and there's also things that you can share. If you have a friend who likes to collage, you can share elements out of magazines, because we all don't like the same things, and so I use lots of florals and architectural items and things with texture and color, and but other people are more into pictures themselves, people, things, animals, things like that. So you can use whatever element you want. Now, as I said earlier, I'm making a book of prototypes, and so what I'm going to put on this first page is some examples of page pockets that I make for my journals. And the first one is a flip-up corner pocket, and that one goes on the corner of a page, and once it's glued down, then you can stick things into that as a pocket, and you can also flip it up, stick something inside, or just journal something inside of it. So I believe that element is going to fit right on that corner just really good. Now, when you're gluing a pocket, of course, you want to glue your outside edges, not your inside edge, otherwise you can't stick anything into it. So you got to be careful when you're gluing pockets that you don't glue the wrong sides. Okay, again, press to the outside and to the top to make sure that all your corners and edges are covered. Use some scrap paper to clean up some of the excess glue. Hold it down. This is a heavier cardstock, the green part, so that it is stronger element. It takes a little more pressure to make sure that it adheres, and sometimes you have to hold it for just a minute, but usually it doesn't take too long to well it's stuck good enough. Okay, I think that's good. There's your pocket. Okay, now I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these white edges yet, but I have a flower element here I'm thinking that I might use somewhere. I don't know. Let's put that away and try that something else. I also have a piece of washi tape here that I think would be cool to stick some of that on here somewhere. Let's see. Where could we use that? We could make just a straight element across here. We haven't have anything straight yet, so washi tape is a wonderful element for that. You can just do anything you want to with it, and it borders things very well. Let's stick some under here so it looks like it's coming. It goes all the way to the top. Didn't get that in there very good, did I? Let's try that again. Okay. Let's twist it just a little bit and bring it down. Okay, that'll work. All right, that gives us a different element in there. Sometimes old makeup makes a wonderful tool for art when you don't want to use paints and things like that, but you just want a little color. And somewhere I had a cotton ball, which I can't find right now, so we'll just use a piece of paper, wipe off the excess. You can also use an old eyeshadows. They make good muted colors. Instead of throwing away or wasting them, just use them in your craft projects. Sometimes when things don't look right on your project, the problem is that you don't have enough. It's very seldom that you have too much. It's more often that you don't have enough. You have a selection of markers. That's great. Use some of those for when you're working on your projects to fill in areas that you might not have thought about filling in before. Let's anything that could make something look more interesting to you or as an art project. Like I said, some of this looks like kindergarten stuff, and it really is, but isn't that what art is? A lot of things that we learn as a kindergartner, we end up using in our art because we just need an element of something. We don't know exactly what, but and remember, we're not going for perfection. We're just going for fun and something interesting that we would have fun watching and looking at again when we come back into this page. Okay, there's that. Now I'm thinking that probably I've got, let's see, I've got another pocket. It's a corner pocket, and it's made from just a piece of paper, and I sewed on a motif that I cut off of an old t-shirt, and that would work as another corner pocket. So let's get it on there. Again, make sure you only do your outside edge, otherwise it won't work as a pocket. It'll be closed up if you glue the inside edges. Let's glue that on. paper and clean up some of the edge glue. When I get this book completed, I'll have all kinds of embellishments in this book, and it'll be easy to just flip through and come across something that I'm thinking, oh, that'll look good on the page of the book, that the journal that I'm working on right now. So that'll work. Okay, now we've got to do something with this because it's just too much plain area in there. Let's try some blue here. Let's do some squiggly circles. See if we can get some interest going here. Squiggly circles are fun. Anybody can do a squiggly circle. Alright, let's go back to let's put a little pink, and let's put some crosses in there, some plus marks. Okay, and for this one, I think I'm going to use my black marker. Another thing with craft supplies, you don't want to just go out and buy a bunch of stuff at one time and spend a lot of money, because 9 times out of 10 you don't end up using what you bought. And so gather your craft supplies a little at a time as you need them for a particular project, if you think you're going to do that project again. If you don't think you're going to do that project again, don't buy those craft supplies. Okay, a lot of times you can create your own supplies at home, just like we're doing with the scrap papers and torn magazines and junk mail, and a lot of that stuff. You know, why go out and pay a lot of money for paper when you've got tons of it around your house already? As you can see, there's no rhyme or reason what I'm doing here. I'm just doing something, doodling, whatever, until I feel that this element's good. And right now, I feel that this element's good. Okay, so that's those two. Now, we still have, let's see, I still have a pocket that I made that's a, you remember those little cups that we used to make to drink in when we were in grade school? Well, that's what this is. And I'm thinking that it's going to go in here about like that. Okay, I'm liking that all right. Do I want to go that way, or do I want to go, I think it's more balanced going that way, don't you? Okay, let's stick him in here. And we're going to glue him. Okay, we're going to just plop him in there. Okay. Okay, let's get some paper here to clean up some glue. Now this was made out of I just tore a page out of a old book and did the folding to make the cup. Put a piece of washi tape across here for decoration, and glued some little fabric pieces and a little flower on there. And that's how that was made. No big deal on that one at all. And so, all right. Okay, let's see. I also had some little birds. Now these are little birds that I made with my great-granddaughters when I showed them how to make these in their glue books. And so I cut them out after I made them, and I thought, well, that would be a good element on a page. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I can use that. And okay, since I don't think I'm going to put anything else under this, I'm going to go ahead and now glue it down. As you can tell, paper and glue are the things that I probably use the most next to fabrics, because I do a lot of fabric embellishment for my junk journals. And but next to fabric, I think paper is one of my things that I love the most. And I love all the decorative papers that are out there. I think I've got a lot of blank space here. So I think what I'm going to do is break this up by just creating some lines there with that. And then, whoops, the lid doesn't work, does it? And then doing the same thing with some contrasting color there. That gives us a little dimension there. This white space is basically going to be covered by the bird. So, you know, do I want to glue him down or do I want to stick him in the pocket? You know what? It kind of looks cute in the pocket, doesn't it? I think I'll do that instead. What about my little bitty bird? Oh, I could use him. Or I tell you what, I could use the big bird in that pocket and the little bird in that pocket. Oh, I think I'll do that instead. Okay, there you go on that one. Then that means I have to do something with these white spaces because I don't like them to just stay white. And get some of my pencils again. Let's do some outlining. On that one, and this one. Okay, again, if you can doodle, you got it made. And who can't doodle, huh? And when all else fails, polka dots work. Sometimes working over edges eliminates that stark edge contrast. And because it looks plain and uninteresting, that's one of the things that I always try to do is work my edges so that they have a little bit more interest. And it doesn't have to be solid everywhere, just a little something here and there. Okay, need to do something in there. What would look good? Let's see, we got a lot of pinks and reds up in there. How about some blue? Okay, let's go circles, circles. some hot pink in the middle. Okay, I bet y'all are saying right now, wow, that looks simple. This is easy. I can do this. And you know what? You'd be exactly right, because it is simple and you can do this. And when you get through, you really got a work of art, something that is totally you, nobody else. And you can be really proud of it. And it can be an art project as well as be useful to you as you're working other things. When I flip to this page, I have 3 pocket prototypes here. I have the little bird elements that I made that I might want to make again. Those will clue me in. I have lots of color combinations here that I might want to combine later on. Whatever it is that you want to do, just do it, because that's what will make it interesting for you. Don't forget to incorporate different elements into your page. Like I have some fabric here, but I'm thinking a little piece of that somewhere would just really top it off. So what I'm going to do is glue this on. Now, a lot of times I use what's called fabric tack glue for when I'm using fabric, but for a small piece like this, it usually works just fine. And it's not that I have to have every smidgen of it attached, but just enough so that it won't come off the page. Again, use your paper to mop up any extra glue that you don't want. And when you get through with a page, you do have to leave it out for a while to let it completely dry before you try to close your page. Go to your next thing. Okay, I'm liking this really well. I don't know exactly. Let's add an element. You know, words are always nice, and just something for a little inspiration. I like phrases and words. And let's see where we want to put this. Let's top it right there. Picking up the pieces. That fits because pieces, that's all we've done this morning, is pick up pieces of torn paper and elements and putting other pieces with them. And we've picked up a lot of pieces and put them together, and we end up with a collage page as an art element, and also an elements page for me for inspiration as I go along. And I still have this flower, and I'm thinking that, you know, I really lose, this flower is too much like the color and everything else. So I think I'm going to save that for something else. And let's see. This one says Sweet Nothings. Let's put it up there. Words and things. You can, of course, you can purchase this stuff, but you can also just cut words out of books, magazines that work great. And I have a whole box of stuff like that, just things that I've cut out because the fonts and the words in magazines, they're all sizes, shapes, and colors. And so they end up being very interesting elements. Let's put a little drop shadow side on this. Just so that it stands out a little bit more, gives it more of a 3D effect there. Okay. Now sometimes what I will do too is that as I go along, I will come back and add something to a page at times, and that's okay too. I mean, why not? It's fun. Use your washi tape wherever you need it. If something didn't stick well, washi tape it down. It's a decorative element all by itself. I need something to stick in this pocket. You know what? Oh, it's too big. Let's see. There's a bookmark. I think that one's too big too. Let's see. Well, maybe we won't stick anything in there yet. Don't really have anything I want. I could stick this tea bag in there because I am going to make some tea bag elements later. So I could do that. I don't need that on there. I can fold that down just to make it more. Put some color on it. I made some tea bag elements for my junk journals that turned out so pretty using just the tea bags themselves, and I really like that. So that'll remind me that I need to make some more of those. And since this is an open pocket, I can stick it into there. Okay, I think I need something right there. Let's see what I have here. Hold on just a second. You may or may not can see this well, but these are cutouts that I've made, that things that I can use, just small elements, botanical elements, butterflies. Let's see, do I have a small butterfly? Oh, I know what I can use. Hold on a minute. Instead of looking through that, let's see, I have a butterfly up here I can use. Okay. Oh, how's that? That'll work. That'll balance that out, won't it? So let's put that in there. Okay, which way do we want him to go? Or do we want him to come down the page, up the page, across the page? Just keep flittering with him until you get him where you think you want him to be. Okay, all right, that works. Now, that balances the page for me. All right, that's my first page in my Ideal Inspiration book. Now, you may not be making junk journals and pockets and things, but you may be, let's say you crochet and you have a pattern that you want to make later. You don't want to make it now, so you print it out or you take a picture of it. Use your photos on your page. Make you a pocket of some kind and stick your pattern into it. If you see things in magazines that you want to make at some point, cut them out, make them your prototypes on your page of things that you want to do. If you want to paint a picture, you have a certain landscape or something that you'd really like to paint. Maybe you've taken a picture of a landscape or a photo of a flower or something that you want to do in acrylics or oils or watercolor. Put it on your page. Maybe then take some different colors and put on your page the color theme that you want to use. You don't have to full collage a page like I did, but if you want to, that's fine too. But put on that page the things and the elements. You can write yourself instructions. Like on here, I can write instructions in here if I want to. How I might use this or whatever. And make each page an element that would work for you as an inspiration for what you like to do, whatever craft it is. If you just like working in your flower garden, take pictures of flowers you want to eventually work with, of garden layouts, anything that you want to do. If your craft is cooking, you like to experiment in the kitchen, great recipe keeper, great page to put your photograph of your finished dishes, and you write how you tweak the recipes and so forth and so on. As you can see, it's unending the possibilities that you can have to do this. And I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that gives you a little inspiration. And we'll call this page finished, and I can't wait to see on our next meetup some of the things that you're going to be working on between. Bye-bye, everybody.